ESPN.com. From ESPN, Shefty. Adam Schefter joins us. What's up, Shefty?
Short week. I'm all ready, though, guys. I've been getting ready for this segment knowing it's a short week and getting in reps, and we're all ready to go for today and for tomorrow night as well.
Now, how fired up are you for this game? Because you've been talking about Jaden Daniels since OTAs. Yeah. And, of course, the Eagles are 7-2. The Commanders are 7-3. It's a big game in general, but you've had eyes on Daniels for a while.
Yeah, well, this was the concern if you're the Eagles all along, that Jaden Daniels was going to be Jaden Daniels. Second straight year, the number 2 draft pick has turned out to be the number 1 pick, really. Right? Last year, C.J. Stroud goes behind Bryce Young. We see how that went. This year, Jaden Daniels goes behind Caleb Williams. We see how that's going so far. And, here's the thing about Jaden Daniels, though, is that when you talk to the people there, this guy totally gets it. He's a leader. He is respected. He's all the right things and all the right stuff. And so that tells me that it's not just going to be this year. It's not going to be, a one and done. It's not going to be some kind of guy just getting lucky in his first year. That tells me this guy, if he can stay healthy, is going to be one of those players in your division for years to come. Like, for years I covered John Elway in the West, and the Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders are always miserable that they have to play John Elway twice a year and be in the same division. And there are teams like that, in the AFC North with Lamar Jackson, or the AFC West now with Patrick Mahomes, or the AFC with Josh Allen. And I think that's the level of guy I'm talking about with Jaden Daniels for this and for seasons to come, as long as he stays healthy.
Our own Ricky Batalico was saying something yesterday on the afternoon show, and his comment was, could we be seeing last year's Eagles season sort of in reverse? Where last year they started out great, but were leaking oil, and then everything fell apart. This year they were sort of leaking oil early, and it seems to be rolling into shape. Are you getting that vibe about this team and what you're hearing about this team?
Yeah, well, I think this team has improved, right? And I think that the systems of the coordinators, Kellen Moore on offense, Vic Fangio on defense, I think that the units have gotten better. They've gone that way. So that's a great point. Like, it's been the reverse Eagles. And you just hope it can continue here in the final, 7 games of the year. So they have gotten better. And for their sake and everybody else's, the noise has gotten a little quieter. And the play has gotten better. And those are the trends that they want to see continue going on here, moving forward, starting Thursday night against the Commanders.
We're speaking to Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline. Shefty, we talk to you about Vic Fangio a lot because you are a big fan of Vic Fangio.
He's a Fangio. He's like a fan alone.
I know he is.
Yep. I like that. Those would be good shirts, right? Fangio.
Yes.
They would be good shirts. Trademark it, Shefty. You need more money, man.
No, he doesn't.
When you see Vic Fangio having the success with the younger players and then also not playing Bryce Huff that much, which was the big free agent signing for Howie Roseman, does it just tell you that Vic Fangio has full control when it comes to this defense? And, of course, he deserves it. But is that what you find out, that this guy has full control of this defense?
Well, it's his defense, and he's going to lead the way and do its best. But I guarantee there's input from the coaching staff, the front office. I mean, it's not the Vic Fangio show in its entirety, but he's the leader of that defense. So they all are smart enough and bright enough to figure out what makes that defense most effective. And right now it hasn't been playing Bryce up. I still think that there's going to be a spot for him to contribute. He's going to be a factor at some point. It just really hasn't happened yet.
Do you, when you look at all the pieces on this Eagles offense, would you expect them to be a team that is a pass-first, run-first offense, or something more diverse with the way that they're getting success from a guy like A.J. Brown and from, of course, what Saquon Barkley brings to the table?
Yeah, well, I think, what's interesting is that the offensive line, went to Nick Sirianni during the bye week and said, we need to run the football more. They weren't doing that enough. And I think that this team started the season as a pass-first team. And I think some of the offensive linemen spoke up and made their voices known. And I think there was a shift. Now, I don't know whether it's a multiple diverse team or whether it's a run-first team, but I think that they've gotten more to the run, and they should be doing that, and that's how it should be going, because the run then sets up the pass. You don't see the pass setting up the run, but it does go the other way around. And I think that the Eagles' offensive line was key in that, in the bye week. And I think that was one of those moments of truth for a team where they speak up, let their voices be heard, speak out for the betterment of the team, and have it turn out to be something that's heard and implemented.
Speaking of Saquon Barkley and run-first offenses, your 6 leading rushers, Derrick Henry, big contract this offseason. Saquon Barkley, contract this offseason. Chuba Hubbard just got a contract extension. Josh Jacobs, big contract extension. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, those round out your top 6. Those 2 players, of course, first-round picks still on their rookie contract. Is this a direction we could see the NFL going back toward, seeing the struggles with some young quarterbacks, that the running backs all of a sudden get a healthy market again?
Well, it's relative, right? Because all these guys were bargains still. I mean, Derrick Henry for, I think it was $8 million a year. Like, who is not going to do that? The amazing part is there was not more interest in these guys. I don't know that the prices are going to dramatically increase or rise, but I think what you'll see is more teams back in that market. Like, losing Saquon Barkley is not something you want to do. And the Eagles were able to pluck him away from the Giants, and that worked out incredibly well. And Derrick Henry, there were people who felt like he was on the back legs of his career, and he's obliterated that notion. Chuba Hubbard actually got paid more on his deal than Derrick Henry, if you could believe that. The deal that came in was, on average, just a little bit north of Derrick Henry. Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, I would imagine, sign extensions as soon as they're eligible to get deals done. Those teams will want to lock them in. I think that what you may see from that is that teams recognize, okay, there is value and importance and significance on landing a running back, but I don't know that you're going to see prices on them skyrocket or all of a sudden teams using high picks on them. They're still going to go where they belong to go, wherever that is, wherever the value is. I just think that these running backs have come in, and you've seen how much they've meant to their teams, and we'll now see how that's reflected in the market. But I don't anticipate that that's going to dramatically shift things.
All right, can we have a little beef?
Yeah.
I consider you part of our family here at Kincade and Salciunas and here at the Fanatic.
What did I do?
Well, you were on with Pat McAfee the other day.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, first of all, Pat doesn't understand what the word Johns means. He should never use it. He's calling misuse of the word John, but you're not a Philly native, so I sort of understand that's okay.
Yeah.
But Pat McAfee and his crew, I think, went unchecked by you about the fans getting on Nick Sirianni. He's 7-2. He's 7-2. And these Philly Johns are calling him names and saying he sucks. They don't bring up the screaming at the fans that the owner had to take him to the woodshed for. They don't bring up melting down at the presser, turning it into a daycare center. They don't bring up all the horrible in-game choices that Nick Sirianni makes. I got to tell you, we're counting on you to be a little more having our back. He takes shots at the Philly fan base and doesn't bring up any of the reasons that Nick Sirianni's getting crushed. Nobody's saying he's a terrible, terrible coach. They're bringing up all the different problems that he creates. I'm expecting you to have our back a little bit more.
You got it. I got you. First, I didn't know that was some derogatory. I didn't even know that he was
No, it's
doing
not a
that,
derogatory thing. It's he's misusing a term. And people outside of like 70 miles of here don't know how to use it. So he's, we're not Philly Johns.
What should it be? What should it be? What should the reference be so I could use it?
Well, I think he was trying
fans, period.
Yeah,
Just
Philly
fans, period.
I thought he was trying to make he was trying to use it in a term, and I'm going to just take artistic license that he was calling us like clowns or something like that, which he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what John means, so he shouldn't use it. But more importantly, He's depicting us as, boy, we don't accept and love Nick Sirianni enough. First of all, I'm sensing there's some sort of a personal relationship there, maybe through the Indianapolis ties, that there's some sort of, because the defensive Nick Sirianni is coming from nobody who watches this team on a daily basis and has lived through his coaching tenure.
Right. Well, I'm glad you point that out, and I want you both to know that I have your backs, that I have the backs of your market.
I love that.
And we're gonna set him straight and just say, hey, Philly fans get worked up when they deserve to be worked up.
Yes,
and that's how it goes, right?
And I believe those things were deserving to be worked up
and
over.
Were. Good job,
despite them still being 7-2.
Now here's the deal. If they go to 8-2, I imagine all is going to be peace and quiet on. McAfee.
You know how we started the show. You know how we started the show. Though he was noisy about it on Monday, and you know what? You know how our Monday show started. Andrew and I talking, and we said, "Let's get this out of the way." Nick Sirianni did nothing but a great job yesterday.
Yeah, we celebrated it.
We started the show saying there's nothing to get on Nick Sirianni about. That was a well-coached game, great game plan. Things worked out well. And then we moved on to other topics. So it's like, I think it was disingenuous of him painting us as being like all anti-Sirianni all the time.
See, there's a lesson in there, though. You know what the lesson is? When the team plays well and wins, people are going to applaud Nick Sirianni.
Correct.
And when the team loses and he does something that he shouldn't, then fans are going to be on Nick Sirianni. Then, see if I get this right. Philly fans are going to be on Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, not Philly, not Philly Johns.
Yes, Philly
fans.
fans.
I have no idea. In Indianapolis, they do not know what Johns means. So please.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There you go. We love that.
Shefty, the game Sunday against the Cowboys was such a blowout that we had to find other storylines to talk about. And one of the storylines was that big yellow thing in the sky. It's called the sun.
I've heard of it.
Does Jerry Jones talk about that with his people? I'm trying to figure out how to even phrase this question. That became a problem, not just for Jalen Hurts looking downfield, but his own players. CeeDee Lamb literally could not catch a touchdown pass because the sun was in his eyes. What goes through the minds of Dallas Cowboys fans, personnel, players, and of course Jerry Jones, where that is a legitimate factor at this time of the year?
It's become a thing for him. He just doesn't want to bend and budge there for whatever reason. And the interesting thing is that they'll do other events in that arena, that venue. They've done basketball games, they've done concerts, and there are shades. And I didn't know that we were going to be talking about interior decorating when it comes to Jerry's world and bringing in interior designers and talking about shades. That's something, if you want to get my wife on to talk about shades, she can come do that. I'm not usually a specialist in that area. But now it's become an issue in Dallas where they don't have shades and blinds to cover the sun that comes in, and the highest paid receiver in football can't catch the football because the shades from the decorator are not there. I mean, the whole thing is just wacky to me. And you know what it is? It's one more excuse for a team that's just not getting it done. That's it. Catch the ball, put up shit, do it. Talk about that and say, by the way, it's better than talking about that than, how they're going to blow up the franchise or the changes they're going to make. So fine, talk about the shades for a week, whatever.
Absolutely. Shetty, listen, man, we appreciate it as always. Make sure you tell Pat McAfee we said hello.
Tell him we say hello and send our love.
I will tell him that the Philly sports fans, the Philly fans, send their best.
Yeah, we love them. Thank you.